Hello everyone, welcome to Ripon Email Monday. Today I want to share with you the answer to a simple technical question of why when I'm sending mass campaigns, all the auto replies are going back to my from sender and not the reply to. Let me unpack this for you, including the technical limitations and some of the things you can do to either minimize or filter these out in your inbox. So let's dive right into it. You've definitely heard of auto replies, whether you've set them up yourself. They're also called vacation responders, autoresponders, or you've gotten it from a colleague you try to reach. Right? They look something like this. Not all the time they have a tag in the subject line, so it's a little bit tricky, and the tags could be different between systems. Now, it's not an issue if you have a couple of emails going out, but if you're sending thousands of emails and all of a sudden you're getting 40, 50 of these, it could clutter your inbox very quickly. So if you don't need to see them, it's always this challenge of how do I filter them out? Now, to take one step back, when I'm configuring my email campaign, I'm creating the setup and I have all these things here. I can set up the from sender and the reply to. Okay? If someone from your contact recipients ends up clicking reply, in this case, Jane, which is the reply to configuration, will get the email. There's no issue there at all. However, when it's an auto response or auto reply, it's going to go back to the from sender. It's going to ignore the reply to and will always be the from sender. And I'm going to explain one of the main reasons. This is described in this RFC recommendation for automatic responses. Very boring 30-minute read. So if you have 30 minutes and you like this tech jargon, you can dive right into it. But one of the main reasons is that if they end up with all these auto responses going back to the reply to, there could be an authentication issue, and this could flood the reply to email. So let's assume marketing at Lead Buffer have set up everything properly on their DNS, so they're verified as a good sender, and they send 100,000 emails. And out of the 100,000 emails, you have 3,000-4,000 auto replies being sent from different servers back to Jane. You can imagine the chaos if Jane hasn't properly or hasn't given consent to the sender to do that. So unfortunately, some people, just like everything else, they abuse this to flood systems, and this is why this behavior by the receiving server is triggered. Going back to the tech, what can you do? What is the possible solution for it? Now, because this is a default server behavior and it varies between the hundreds of servers out there, meaning Gmail requires one tag in the header versus Outlook versus Yahoo. Every one of these needs a different header and attached to the tech stack. So if you have control over your tech stack and you've built your own, you can configure the headers to include some of these tags. And this way, the recipient inbox will not send you back a response, right? It will suppress that auto response. Okay. Now, because that behavior is a choice, right? Not all people like to not receive those emails. In fact, some companies, they take those auto replies and they create some sort of a timely follow-up according to these auto replies. Because it's a personal choice, most emails like VBOUT, Marketo, HubSpot, MailChimp, by default, we let you receive these auto replies. Some of them might have a setting to suppress them, so they will append some of these for you. But the problem is this is not all the headers that needs to be added in your tech stack, right? There could be dozens more depending on the server, the recipient server, okay? Which is why it's tricky. So if you ended up configuring this in your tech stack, the only limitation there is it's not going to fully remove them, but will reduce them significantly. Okay. Now, if you'd like to keep them, because if you're using VBOUT or other systems, you don't have access to the tech stack. You're using whatever we give you. In this case, I recommend using built-in filters within your email. In this case, if I look at my Gmail, I can go to my configuration. I can create a new filter, and the filter could include specific words. For example, auto reply or out of office reply or on vacation or out for vacation. And you just have to be a little bit careful so you don't filter out legitimate emails that could come in with these. But what you can do is maybe add a tag by default, okay? And when you add a tag, you can move them directly to a folder. So there are some rules and actions that you can take based on the subject line themselves. Right. So that's another suggestion, is that the person who's sending the email, in this case is marketing at, should have a filter for any email going back that includes auto replies, out of office replies, etc. So this is it. These are the two ways that you can handle it. So let me summarize. Any email you send out, auto replies will be sent back to the from sender, ignoring the reply to configuration. If you're in charge of your text tag, you can hard code some of these into your headers, and this is depending on the email recipient. You have hundreds of them, but most people configure the top, which are Outlook, Gmail, and such. If you want, the last option is to configure filter natively on your email of choice. And this is it, guys. If you found this helpful, please comment, like, share with someone who can use this. And I would love your suggestions for any emails that you'd like me to look at, analyze, and give you some feedback on. Thank you so much.